Well, here we are, about to talk about another Yankees loss. The Yanks dropped 2 of 3 in Tampa this past weekend. I guess it's still the weekend. It's 9:30 p.m. Sunday night, August 27th, as I record. So let's get into episode 555, where the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 to Tampa. But of course, we've got more important things to discuss in this episode. As you can tell by the title, we're going to talk a little farm system Yankees. We'll also talk about the prospects that are currently on the team, and more important things on the horizon. So let's get into it. Episode 555 of BD4. Let's go. Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya! Anthony for 3, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied! Time!
Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win!
All right. Welcome back to the show. Let's get into it, man. We're not going to waste time. We'll briefly recap this series game by game. But then we'll get into the important things, which at this point are not wins and losses. Unfortunately, it's still weird to me as a Yankees fan, still having yet a month to play, and we're like checked out. It's weird. Talking about like other things other than winning. Things other than winning is not what Yankees fans talk about. We're always talking about winning and losing. But we're in a season where we're not going to make the playoffs. And not only are we not going to make the playoffs, we're out of it in August. They are 10, 11 games back, whatever that number is now, on August 27th. So they missed it by a mile, and they've been out for a while. It's a rhyme right there. A rhyme that I never thought I'd be using. So let's talk Yankees. Yankees-Rays, they were at the Trop this weekend. Friday was game 1, where the Yankees actually won this one, 6-2. I'm going to just charge my phone here for a sec. Give me 1 second. 6-2, they won. They had Gerrit Cole going up against Eflin, I think the kid's name is. And no score until the top of the 5th when DJ LeMahieu hit his first of 2 home runs in the game. That put the Yankees up 1-0. Top of the 6th, Everson Pereira, the RBI single. 2-0 Yankees. Diaz hit the home run off Cole in the 6th, 2-1. And then in the top of the 7th, you get the RBI doubles from Gleyber Torres and Giancarlo Stanton, putting it 5-1 for the Yankees. And then LeMahieu in the 8th inning tacked on with his second home run of the game. 6-1 Yankees. Cole ends up going 7 2/3, and the Yankees would win 6-2 eventually. The Bats scored 6 runs in this game on 11 hits, 3 walks, 5 extra base hits, and they were 4 for 13 in scoring position, which is good. That's over 300. LeMahieu had 3 hits to lead the squad. Going to hear his name a lot tonight, or whenever it is you are listening to this or watching. Gleyber Torres had 2 hits and Volpe had 2 hits. Stanton doubled. IKF had a double, and Gleyber doubled. Judge was 0 for 4 strikeouts in this. Cole, 7 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 1 of them was earned. 3 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed, 100 pitches in the win. Pitched another gem. The slider to Diaz in the 6th inning, and the 8th inning he had the He was bit by the Peraza error, and then Loaisiga couldn't hold it. But he was great other than that. And I remember he used to struggle at the Trop against the Rays. But I don't know what the numbers are now, but it feels like he's found it. I know he had one bad start this year, but I feel like 3 of the 4 have been pretty good against Tampa this year. And then, again, Loaisiga was the only one out of the pen in this game, an inning and a third. No runs. One of them, there was the inherited runner that scored. One hit. And that was the game. That was the first game on Friday. That was game 1. Second game on Saturday, the Yankees lost 3-0. Tampa had Glasnow pitching. We had Clark Schmidt. And the bottom of the second, 2 sac flies, make it 2-zip for the Rays. And then the third inning comes, and this guy had himself a series. Brandon Lowe, I don't know if this is Lowe or Lau, but he has an RBI double. It's 3-0 Rays. It was initially ruled a home run, then it was reviewed. I didn't get to watch this game. I saw the highlights when I got home. I was at an engagement party, but I heard Schmidt won 6 2/3, and after that it was Peralta and Middleton for an inning and a third. And the Yankees lost 3-0. No runs on 2 hits and 10 strikeouts. DJ LeMahieu had the 2 hits. Every other Yankee, 0 hits. Just like with Ben Rortvedt the other day, it was in the Washington series. They had a game just like that. Absolutely astonishing. Glasnow ends up going 6 shutout, 4 strikeouts, 1 hit. The pen goes the remaining 3, 1 hit. Clark Schmidt for the Yankees, 6 2/3, 3 runs, 1 earned run, 6 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts, no home runs allowed, 99 pitches, and unfortunately he was handed the loss. He really just made one true mistake in this game. He left a slider up in the zone to Raley in the second inning, and that was after the Kiner-Falefa error too. So, and then the 2 hits in the third inning that he allowed weren't really off terrible pitches. Both of them were breaking balls pretty low in the zone, and he continues to attack with the cutter, and that cut fastball has worked for him. It was a problem for him early on. It's been up and down still. He's had some good stretches and bad stretches with it, but he's sticking with it. And the cutter this past month, in August, netted a .281 slugging. So, very effective. It's still a more effective pitch against right-handed hitting. But when he keeps it inside and away from the middle of the plate to lefties, it's still a pretty good pitch. But his best pitch is that curveball. That curveball has been far and away his best off-speed pitch the entire way. It gets the most swing and misses. It gets the most outs. It's got a .208 batting average against, 347 slugging, and a 41% strikeout rate. But Clark continues to be he's rock solid as the number 5 in this rotation. Sure, he got lit up the other day, but only 2 starts this year since May. Only 2 starts since May has he gotten lit up. In 20 starts since May 1st, Clark Schmidt has allowed 3 runs or less in 18 of them. Right, he had the Tampa start in early May, and then he had the one a few starts ago against Atlanta. But he's bounced back since, and he had a hell of a start this time out. So Clark continues to do his damn thing. The bullpen, Peralta faced the batter in the 7th, struck him out. Middleton got the 8th, allowed a hit, couple walks, but he got out of it unscathed. This was the first game of the season that Anthony Volpe missed entirely, did not partake in this game at all. So can't really get on Boone for sitting him. And then Kiner-Falefa made the error in the second inning again, which led to the double and 2 fly balls. But yeah, that was game 2 on Saturday. And Sunday, earlier today, on Amazon Prime, the Yankees lost 7-4. Their 8th consecutive rubber game loss. Carlos Rodon versus Zach Littell. Bottom of the first, the Rays get 2 runs in a potentially disastrous inning. Could have been. A Rosarina, the leadoff single. Allowed the 1-out 2-run home run later. Paredes singles. Then you get the hit by pitch, the number 5 hitter. Blake comes out to mound visit. Raley hits the single. And the Yankees also make 2 errors in the inning. Higgy on the throw to second. And then Bader, the bad throw to third when the runner advances that Peraza couldn't handle. If Hal is confused still at this point, I advise him to watch that clip over and over again because it is a microcosm. It's trademark 2023 Yankee baseball right there. Like shit like that happens every single night if you watch this team. You know what I mean. And I mean, Kay the other day, I forget who it was who got caught on the bases. Somebody got caught going on that contact play that the Yankees always get caught on when they're going from second to third or third to home. This was during the Washington series. It happened, and Kay just nonchalantly goes something like, and they do it again to end the inning. And it was just so nonchalant, like he's so used to it. It was simple and perfect. Like the Yankees and their fundamental mistakes, it's alarming. And that's part of the reason why I dislike Aaron Boone very much as a manager. But Rodon gets the strikeout to Bethancourt to end what could have been a terrible first inning. It was only 2-0 Rays. And the Yankees tie it in the top of the third when Higashioka and LeMahieu go back-to-back for home runs. And in the top of the fourth inning, you get the kids contributing. Everson Pereira, the leadoff base hit, and then Anthony Volpe gets the 2-run home run to make it 4-2 Yankees. Rodon ends up going 4 2/3 innings. And then in the bottom of the sixth, Ian Hamilton, after almost blowing it in the fifth inning, coming in for Rodon, blows it here in the sixth. He gets 2 very quick outs, but then he lets up a single, hits the batter, another single happens, and then Ramirez knocks the 2-run single after a 7-pitch battle. This was a play where I thought Gleyber Torres, if he wasn't so nonchalant, could have made the play, but we know Gleyber Torres is very nonchalant, and it ends up being a bloop over his head, and that's a ball that he absolutely needs to catch. But again, this is Gleyber Torres, and that's what he does. He's a stupid, low IQ, lazy baseball player. And so the game after that was tied at 4. Hamilton then is pulled for Wandy Peralta with first and third and 2 outs. Eventually, it'd be second and third. And then Peralta lets up the 2-run single to Brandon Lowe. It's 6-4 Tampa. Canely got the 7th. And then the bottom of the 8th comes. Abreu's in, and this is where the bench is clear. Abreu hits a Rosarina. This was the 4th hit Tampa Bay Rays batter of the day. The 5th batter hit in the game. Rosarina doesn't like it. He's talking shit. Higgy's kind of saying, calm down. The benches start to clear. A couple of times, Rosarina tried to run around the crowd and charge Abreu, but he was held back. Abreu was not backing down either. He was kind of waiting for him, just talking to him, waiting for him to come. It was pretty cool. Then Rosarina, after that, in the next at-bat, he's on first, steals second, then he steals third. After he steals third, he walks kind of slowly during the dead ball, slowly walking to pick up his helmet. And he's kind of talking shit. And so the benches start to clear again. Nothing really happened. No violence happened, unfortunately. That's usually the case. It's only like once every few years in baseball where the bench is clear and you get violence out of it. We already got the Jose Ramirez punch a few weeks back, so this time we got nothing. I love a good brawl. And I don't remember the last time we got a good Yankee brawl. I guess it was the Tyler Austin bat slam against Joe Kelly, but I don't remember him. It was a little bit of a brawl. But, yeah, I mean, let's like, there are these fake reporters out there. Oh, thank God, no violence ensued. Like, stop the bullshit. This over-professional beta mentality. We baseball fans love brawls. Let's stop pretending that it's such a bad thing for men to be men sometimes. But, anyways, I'm getting off topic here. The Rays end up scoring a Rosarina with the RBI double from but Brandon Lowe, and it's 7-4 at the end of the day, and the Yankees lose. 4 runs on 4 hits for the Yankees. 16 Yankees retired in a row to end the game. So That's nice. The only Yankees with hits, LeMahieu, Pereira, Volpe, and Higashioka. So that was it. No other Yankee did shit. Judge looked terrible again. All series, he looked really bad. He was 0 for 12 this series. He had 8 strikeouts. He did nothing but strike out on breaking balls. That was the recipe. Breaking balls to Judge and fastballs to Stanton, which was weird. But yeah, Judge was getting sliders, sweepers, cutters, curves, goodness. He saw 3 four-seam fastballs in the entire series. And in his final at-bat of the series, I believe, he saw a bunch of cutters in a row and couldn't hit him. I mean, he looks wow. He looks terrible. And this is right after being really hot in the Washington series. But he looks absolutely horrendous right now. I never thought I'd see him in the 260s, but that's where he is. He's hitting 266. That's not Aaron Judge. I still think they should shut him down, get the surgery, but I think we're kind of past that conversation. The Yankees have already said they're not doing that. But yeah, he did not look good. And I hope that he can bounce back just because I kind of want to see him chase 35 homers. That'd be pretty cool to see if he could touch that number in a season where he missed over 2 months. Rodon pitched 4 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, a hit batter, 7 strikeouts, a home run, got the no decision. Listen, he is a big piece to the team, whether we like him or not. He's here for 5 more years after this. He signed a 6-year, $162 million deal. So every time he makes a start, I'm looking forward to it because I want to see if he can turn it around and show me something. But today, not great. I'm kind of done with the encouraging signs part too, by the way. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. At this point, he needs to pony up. He's had enough starts under his belt. He needs to start putting together some actual great stretches. Because I heard that garbage today that it was a good start. No, he pitched 4 innings, guy. It's time to put up. He gets in a terrible jam in the first inning, gets out of it, sure, to a degree. And I know he looked better after that. And he missed a lot more bats today. That was a good thing. He missed a ton of bats. And the Rays have a good potent lineup. But I need to see more, obviously. I'm not confident that he's going to succeed. He gives up a ton of contact. A ton of contact. He does not miss bats. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys. That was his thing the last 2 years. That was his thing with San Francisco last year. He struck out the world. He had 7 Ks today, so that's good. But, we need him to have a really strong start. Puts a ton of traffic on the bases. Walks, hit batters, hits. He's got a 141 whip in 37 2/3 innings this year. That excludes the 3 hit batters as well. There's the injury concern. He's got a different injury every time now. It still concerns me that he's in his 30s and he's got a, quote, chronic back issue. I don't like that word. Never liked that term. The minute they said chronic back in, what was it, May? Yeah, I have not been exactly optimistic. And you got a pitcher with a bad back, and he's only throwing 2 pitches. That also scares the crap out of me. He's fastball slider. So what happens if the back keeps barking? He loses velo on it. He doesn't have an arsenal. I don't know how much you can go with 2 pitches. And that fastball, it feels like the velocity varies a lot on it. He'll throw it 93, but then he'll flash 98. It's very odd. I'm not sold on him. And I'm not remotely close to being sold on him. And I'm not calling today a good start for him because he went 4 innings. When we return, we'll talk about some more things. We'll talk a little bit about prospects, the minor league system. We'll talk Josh Donaldson and some more. Stay with us here on BD4. We'll be right back.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show.
Welcome back to the show, episode 555 of BD4. The Yanks dropped 2 of 3 against Tampa. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get the Donaldson part out of the way. It's real briefly. But apparently the Yankees are trying to bring him back. They say he's rehabbing down there in the minors. Why? Like, what's the point? What good does this do? Can anybody tell me what good this does? What do we need to see from Josh Donaldson, who's not going to be here next year? Okay, so take next year out of the equation. What does Josh Donaldson getting at-bats for 30-something games the rest of the season do for the Yankees? What does it do for us? Because they're not making the postseason. He's not building trade value. He's not going to be part of the he's a 38-year-old vet who's done. Why should he take away reps from Oswald Peraza? Hopefully they're not actually trying to get him back. Hopefully what they're doing is trying to make it seem like they're getting him back, like so it's not obvious that they're trying to Ellsbury him. That's my hope, right? That they're just trying to make it, hey, look, see, we're trying to bring him back, but they're not actually at the same time. They're just doing PR work. That's my hope. It could be that, but they're also very, very dumb, so it very well could be the former. And then there's another thing. This was a few days ago. Jeff Passan posted on X that Donaldson was displaying some very toxic behavior in the Minnesota clubhouse. And the Yankees knew about this, but they still acquired him. So that was a report by Passan the other day. This is what happens. This is the Yankees. This is the new Yankees. I mean, listen, if he was still a great player, there's nothing wrong with a little asshole vibe, right? But the guy can't hit anymore. He can only play defense. And that trade, you could have just dropped Gary. I still think about it. You could have just dropped Gary. I talked myself into thinking it'd work out when it happened, but, I mean, you could have dropped Sanchez. Could have had another good year or two of Gio. Yeah. I want to talk something exciting. Let's transition a little bit from low vibes to positive vibes. There's a kid in Japan who is getting a lot of hype right now. He's a 25-year-old right-handed pitcher from Japan. His name is... I'm not going to try to say his first name because I will butcher it. But his last name, Yamamoto. And this kid is supposedly the best pitcher in the nation. The kid, Sasaki, who was throwing 102 mile an hour bullets in the World Baseball Classic this year. He's getting a ton of hype. He might be better, but Yamamoto seems like the most polished one down there, and he's going to be posted to the major leagues in free agency this winter. So, Yamamoto is the one I'm looking out for because there's a lot of guys who want him. And his career overseas, he's 71 and 29. He's got a 1.77 ERA, and that's across 930 and 2/3 innings, 183 games. He's a 2-time MVP over there. He is a 2-time Triple Crown winner as well, and that's not excluding this year where he's going for his third in both of those categories. And in the World Baseball Classic, he pitched. He pitched in 2 games, 1 start, 7 1/3 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, and he had 12 strikeouts. 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA. And this season down in Japan, over in Japan, he's 13-5 with a 1.34 ERA, 134 innings, 135 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed, 20 walks, and a 0.89 whip. So all those numbers are very, very robust. He was a closer. He was a setup man for a while, but he became a starting pitcher in 2019. And since then, he's taken off. And it is Japan, so keep in mind the old rule that applies where they say, like, those numbers translate to AAA numbers over here. But, yeah, there's a reason there that a lot of teams are sending scouts to see him right now. From what I read in who was the dude that said Arson Judge? Heyman. Heyman said that St. Louis, the Mets, Boston, Chicago, the Cubs, the LA Dodgers, Arizona, Philly, I think it was the Phillies, the Rangers, the Tigers, and the Yankees. 10 teams that they were the 10 teams that sent scouts to go watch Yamamoto pitch on Wednesday. And in that start, he threw 7 scoreless. And that was apparently a start where he didn't have his best stuff. So he's got several plus pitches that all grade out as top of the rotation stuff. The four-seamer sits around 94 to 97. He can dial it up to 98, 99 if he needs to. It sits in the mid-90s, even late in the game. And his fastball also has a ton of sink, a little bit of ride to it. And he can also cut that fastball, where he throws a cutter. He actually throws a four-seamer and a cutter. He's got a curveball with a very big arc, and it moves very slow. And his best pitch is that splitter. That's considered his best pitch. And that's a lot of Japan pitchers love throwing that splitter, right? That was Tanaka's pitch. I think it was Jin-Ming Wang, like that sinker-splitter combo. Kuroda. It's kind of got that forkball look to it, and it sits in the low 90s, and the splitter is his out pitch. He's got incredible command on all those pitches, too. He walks 2 batters per 9 innings in his career, and he's only walked 1.2 batters per 9 innings this year. And he keeps the ball in the ballpark. He does not allow the home run ball. That's a plus. And while his strikeouts per 9 isn't great, it's 9. It's nothing crazy. Japanese pitchers tend to have better strikeout numbers in the big leagues in America because in Japan they have a much higher contact rate. A lot of their guys put the bat on the ball. So you come to Major League Baseball, you're going to get a lot more guys striking out, obviously. Like a lot of 3 true outcome guys focused on launch angle, more holes in their swing. Your home run numbers might go up a little bit, but you're going to strike out more guys. And he's got a deceiving delivery too. As you know, a lot of those Japanese pitchers have that hesitation when they bring their leg up. He's got that too. He's been compared to Tanaka. And remember, I love Tanaka, and he was solid. But before Tanaka had the elbow injury in his first season here, before he hurt that thing the next year, he had ace stuff. He was throwing hard. He was supposed to be this number 1. So I'm excited for this Yamamoto guy. Now, he's expected to command a lot of money. I'm hearing $200 million. So it's definitely a large commitment, but hopefully that's going to narrow down some of the interest. You know, hopefully that narrows it down to the big market clubs and the Yankees can jump in. But I'm also hearing there's like a fee that's required that whoever signs this kid has to pay a fee. 20% of the contract's first $25 million has to go to the team he plays for. 18% of the next $25 million, and then 15% after that. So there is a fee added to that contract that they're going to pay him, which again is expected to be $200 million, give or take. I don't know if Hal is going to splurge on him. Just with the way the Rodon contract is looking right now, they just handed him $160 million. I have a feeling that Cohen's going to shell up a lot of money. Hal's going to bitch out because Cohen does what an owner needs to do and is supposed to do, and that's spend money to make your team a winner or to at least attempt to. And Hal doesn't exactly do that. But I would consider it, man. I've always loved Japanese-born players. The Yankees have had a ton of success with Japanese players. Japanese pitchers. Sure, there have been some flops. I don't remember Keigawa too much. Irabu. Those 2 guys I don't think were great. But I mean, you also had Kuroda. Very consistent for you. Masahiro Tanaka. He was a postseason king. Dare I say Jin-Ming Wang. I mean, as much shit as he gets, he did win 19 games 2 seasons in a row for them. So they've had their success. with Japanese players. And I feel like these guys that come over there, I feel like they're a different breed. I feel like they're more cool, calm, and collected. I had a theory a while ago that like Tanaka pitched so well in big games in the playoffs because he's from Japan. And I just feel like those guys over there are taught and brought up way differently over there. I feel like they're taught to be able to handle pressure and have discipline and this composure to them. And that's why I've always liked those types of players. And I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you want to jump on this kid? You kind of need pitchers, man. And the free agent market isn't that great. Giolito is one of the better options, and he's not that great. I think he's a little overrated, to be honest. So why not, if you're the Yankees, go be the Yankees and take some money out of your billions and build a competitive starting rotation, for God's sake. Because who the hell are the reliable starting pitchers on this team right now? Cole? And that's it, really. I mean, Schmidt, I guess you could staple in as the number 5. I'll pencil him in. That's fine, sure. But after that, I mean, Rodon, we just spoke about him. He's not been good. He's concerning me with the injuries and again, the 2-pitch arsenal. And Nestor Cortez, I'm not sure he's an elite arm anymore. I don't think I trust him. Domingo's gone next year. I don't expect him back. And even if he is, he's a 6-starter like fill-in guy. Brito and Vasquez, come on, man. Like, even assuming, okay, Cole, Rodon, Cortez, Schmidt all start next year. There's a lot of questions there, and you're also going to have an open spot heading into camp because you at least need 5. You need at least 5. So there's no reason to not be all in on this kid. I think the Yankees absolutely need to jump in on Yamamoto and see what they can do. So that's my spiel there. We're going to head to break, be right back, talk a little more about Yankee prospects when we return. Stay with us here on BD4, episode 555. Be right back.
You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back to the show, episode 555. I'm your host, RJ. So, we're getting a lot of noise down below in the system right now. A lot of these minor league prospects are making noise. And we talked about a bunch of these guys the other day, a few episodes back. But Drew Thorpe, starting pitcher right now, he just had another very strong start in Double-A. This is a kid who, with high A, Hudson Valley this season, had a 2.81 ERA. But he was called up not long ago, and he just made another very strong start. He's made 3 starts so far with Double-A. His first one, he went 8 innings, no runs. That was on August 11th. Then on the 18th, he went 6 2/3, 2 runs. And this past Friday, he just went 6 1/3, no runs. So you're probably not seeing Drew Thorpe until next season. But it's good to see the immediate success that he and other guys are having right now when they get promoted. Like Spencer Jones was just promoted to Double-A. Spencer Jones is a 22-year-old draft pick for the Yankees. He was drafted a few years ago in outfielder. He's donned as the lefty Aaron Judge. He had a 787 OPS in 100 games with high A Hudson Valley this year, and also had 35 stolen bases for the Renegades, which is very sneaky for a 6'6", 230-pound freak. But he just recently got called up. He also just recently jumped Jason Dominguez in the MLB pipeline as the Yankees' #1 prospect. I believe he's 76th in baseball. So that's interesting. But yeah, he debuted at Double-A today. And he went 2 for 4. A couple of singles. He scored a run, and if you care, he hit the ball hard each time. He had a 107-mile-an-hour line out, 97-mile-an-hour fly out, and then his 2 singles were 105 and 102, if you care about that stuff. He's going to be an interesting prospect to watch, though, because, he's probably going to be ready by 2025, I would say, sometime then. There's an outside shot you see him in 2024 in September, but I would say 2025 is probably your best bet. But the Yankees have Dominguez. They're getting a look at Everson Pereira right now. Harrison Bader is going to be a free agent, but so will Cody Bellinger. And there is now Spencer Jones, who I believe has, I don't know. Like he could be trade bait, but we have to see how he develops. I mean, if he fine-tunes some things and he puts it all together, makes enough contact to be a big league hitter, you could be talking about 50 home run pop in Yankee Stadium with his power from the left side of the plate. You never know. This is I want to see. Next year is going to be a big, giant year for Spencer Jones. If he doesn't seem like he's raking, maybe he's trade bait. If he seems like he's raking, maybe you figure something out and you plan to have him on the team in 2 years from now. But we'll see. Jason Dominguez is producing in AAA, where he was just called up to not long ago. 7 games into his AAA career with the Rail Riders. He's batting .478 with a 12.08 OPS. 2 doubles, a triple, 10 RBIs, 4 walks, 4 runs, only 2 strikeouts and a stolen base. He is hitting the ball rocket hard, from what I'm hearing. He's already been intentionally walked. I each time I hear about this kid, I get a little more enamored. I want to like him a lot. What I like best is when I hear about his plate discipline. Obviously, I love the switch hitting bat. I love how he looks very built. The power he possesses is going to be nice. But he looks like he controls the zone well. I've seen clips of him. He seems like he puts the ball in play often. He's going to take his walks. And that excites me a little bit. That tells me he could be a high on base guy. And, Brian Hoke said in a tweet earlier today that that there's a shot the Yankees could call up Dominguez in September. That right there would intrigue me. That would have me interested in these games. Because I said, I thought I'd be a lot more excited watching Peraza. I'm glad Volpe's hitting now. But this is the Yankee gem right here. This is Jason Dominguez, the kid, the Martian, right? The kid they've been hyping up forever. I remember when he was first in their system at 16 years old. They were going crazy about this kid. And I was like, man, we have to wait that long? The time is so close. They were calling this guy Trout, Bo Jackson, Mantle. Literally calling him that. They're still doing so on his MLB pipeline pitch, which is crazy to me. I'm going to say, I like to temper my expectation. I'm going to say if he pans out, you're getting like a better version of Melky Cabrera, where I think that's fair. Like, we have to stop with the excessive hype, and we got to tame ourselves a little bit. And Melky Cabrera, at his best, was an MVP candidate with the Giants before the Royd bust. In his career, he was a .285 hitter, a .751 OPS. I think that's in the ballpark where Dominguez could be, hopefully a little better with the OPS. But if they get this kid to reach his ceiling, and there's a chance he could be a .270, 30 homer hitter, 30 stolen bases, and that's an MVP candidate right there. That's a perennial all-star, and that's a win. That's a big win. He doesn't need to be Bo Jackson. He doesn't need to be Mike Trout. Bo Jackson just said that. Who's the other one? Mantle. Like, he doesn't need to be that. But if he, I want to have a hit. And I'm hoping this can be the kid who actually hits, like slam dunks. Because I think Volpe will be a nice player. But I think Dominguez, from what we keep hearing, like, we better damn well get one of these kids to live up to be very good. Austin Wells keeps producing quietly in AAA. Yankees want to get a look at him at first base, you're hearing. At least for now, I'd expect him to be promoted at catcher. And I expect him to be demoted or promoted probably this week, as soon as September hits. I would expect him to be on the team. Maybe a DFA, a Rortvedt. I don't know how many options Rortvedt has, but who cares? And the big league kids are looking good. Pereira, listen, he's some rookie problems, whatever, the strikeouts, struggles with the big league slider. He's only 3 for 22 right now, but he does have a couple RBIs. He's got a walk, an extra base hit so far in 6 games, and the RBI that he had in this series, I forget which game it was, but he had that inside-out swing that traveled through the second baseman's side of the infield, gets the RBI base hit. I loved that swing because this is the kind of thing I'm talking about when I mentioned his swing the other day. I said I love how it's a hard swing. It's quick. It seems like he could be a line drive, exit velo, extra base hit guy with that swing. But I also said he needs to learn to tame himself and make adjustments mid-count and not always swing to not get cheated. And that was a perfect example of what you want to see from a young player like that. So I don't know where I envision Everson Pereira in the future. Could also be trade bait, but, we'll see what happens. We got a month left to play. See how he looks. Peraza, the kid's got to start hitting Oswald Peraza because it's getting to be a larger sample size. He's still not hitting. He hit well at the end of last year when he was promoted, but he comes up a few times this year. He doesn't hit. Right now he's getting an extended look. He's still not hitting. He's 2 for 20 since the recall. No RBIs, a walk, bunch of strikeouts from him. We need to start seeing him hit because we know the Yankees have a short leash with Oswald Peraza for some reason, and you're starting to hear the Donaldson chirps. So, it's time for Peraza to start raking a little bit. His defense, even his defense like Pereira's defense, has actually been good for the most part. He's had a couple mistakes, error the other day. Today I thought he could have handled that throw a little better from Bader, but I got to rewatch it. I don't know, but yeah, he's got to start hitting. Volpe's hitting. He's using right field regularly now. He's coming up on 220 with the average. The OPS is close to 700. I like the kid. He's on his way to a 2020 season. For a bad year, those aren't terrible numbers. Like for a down year, for a rookie who's had a very inconsistent season. And speaking of, obviously you keep hearing the whole chicken parm joke, but before the mechanics tweak in mid-June, Anthony Volpe's first 67 games, 186 average, 605 OPS, 9 homers, 26 RBIs, 31% K rate. In his last 62 games since the tweak, 254 average, 793 OPS, 9 homers, 27 RBIs, 23% K rate. So what that tells me is he's had the power all season long. We know he's been producing runs. We know he's got the pop. But that tells me that he's made adjustments. He's discussed some things with Austin Wells. He's closed off his batting stance. He ate some chicken parm. And now we're seeing the benefits where he's cut down on the strikeouts, shortened up the swing. He's going the other way more often, and he's starting to get on base a lot more consistently. And to add to it, he's playing every day, and he's also playing a good shortstop. The last few months, he's looked good at shortstop. There was a rough patch in there, but he's looked very, very good at shortstop. Excuse me. In the last couple months so far. And honestly, with the way baseball looks, with the way they focus on like defensive metrics and DRS and outs above average and all that, Anthony Volpe's got the numbers to where he has an outside shot to win Gold Glove at shortstop. Especially now with that pedophile out of baseball, and hopefully that guy's beneath the earth soon, 2 to the head. But Anthony Volpe's got a chance to win a Gold Glove, which is pretty crazy. To be a part of the 2020 club and also win a Gold Glove. Pretty damn good baseball player. I think he could be a solid baseball player. Not a superstar. I don't know that he'll be the superstar Yankees fans were hyping him up to be in the media, but I think he'll be a good... he's got a chance, if he puts it all together, to be a solid baseball player. So let's hope. All right, we'll tip our caps, wrap this up, and hand out our cap tips as soon as we return from our final break. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on BD4, episode 555.
If you have time in the day or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to BD4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show. Studio 69 Productions is a production company that allows content creators of all genres to market their podcast or whatever project they're working on. It's an online platform that will promote your content no problem. All you have to do is get in touch with film director and podcast producer Leo Rodriguez from Say No More Podcast, and you're good to go. You can find him on Instagram at Studio 69NJ, Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone, episode 555 of BD4. All right, going around the diamond, let's go to our position players and tip our cap to, as we do this, one guy in the lineup, one guy in the rotation, one guy in the bullpen. In the lineup, we're tipping our cap to DJ LeMahieu for having himself a good series. So let's tip our cap to DJ this series. DJ. 6 for 12, 500 average this series. 3 home runs, 3 RBIs, a walk, no strikeouts, 4 runs, 15 total bases, and a 1789 OPS in 3 games at the Trop. On the season, batting .247, the OPS is now .723. 18 doubles, couple triples, 12 homers. And that's across 108 games. Yeah, DJ LeMahieu, I don't know if I've ever seen him do 2 home runs in a game, one to each field. One to the left, one to the right. So that was interesting to see. But he's been hitting, and it's not just this series. He's actually been hitting, and this is open to your interpretation. You can see it a different way. You can not. He's hitting a lot better under Sean Casey. He's made improvements under Sean Casey. You've heard multiple times that him and Casey have been working together. LeMahieu mentioned it and credited Sean Casey today. But you look at the numbers. Pre-All-Star break, which is before Casey came in, 76 games, .220 batting average, .643 OPS, 7 homers, 23% K rate. Post-All-Star break, which was exactly when Casey came in, 32 games since, .315 average, .915 OPS, 5 homers, 20% K rate. Big difference. The hard contact is back. He's going the other way again. That's at least what the eye test is telling me. I don't know what the numbers say on the spreadsheet, but I like that he's making more contact. Like, he's not striking out at a crazy rate anymore. Again, there was no strikeouts this series in 3 games from him. And again, under Casey, it's been a tick below 20%, the K rate. So that's always a good sign that guys are seeing the ball well. Now, it's not doing much for me yet. And I'm not sure there are enough games to where it can really excite me. But if DJ finishes September doing what he's done so far post All-Star break under Sean Casey, it'll get me to at least raise my eyebrows. And if he does that, you maybe talk yourself into the question of, did we count him out too early? Because last year for him, he wasn't terrible. 111 games played. He did bat over .260. He had an OPS plus of 111. So he wasn't awful. I'm just saying is, like what I'm saying is, like if he keeps it up the rest of the way, it will at least have me thinking that maybe it's not just a random hot streak, and maybe there is something to it where he's found something underneath Sean Casey's guidance. And remember, Sean Casey was also a career 300 hitter like DJ LeMahieu is. And when I say, like, catch my attention and raise my eyebrows, and what I mean by that is not that I think DJ LeMahieu can be an elite hitter again like he was 3 years ago. Let me be clear with that. I just mean if he continues to do what he's doing, maybe there's an outside shot that he can be a credible utility guy to come off the bench next year and get spot starts when guys go down. That's all I mean. I just mean maybe he's not completely washed. But again, I still need to see more. I am not there yet. I need more. There's a lot more I need to see from now until the end of the season. Keep doing what he's doing. And if he does that, then maybe I'll be a little more hopeful. But it's good to see right now. And this is his only second cap tip of the season. Tells you how bad of a year he's had. But DJ LeMahieu, keep hitting. It's a good thing to see, and that's one of the storylines I'm watching as we conclude the season here. Gerrit Cole. Tipping my cap to Gerrit Cole. 7 2/3 innings the other day. 1 run, 11 strikeouts, no walks, 3 hits, a homer, 2 singles, 100 pitches, 66% strikes, and the win in Game 1 at the Trop. And Gerrit Cole is now making himself a very attractive Cy Young candidate. He's 11-4 with a 2.95 ERA, 168 innings, 181 strikeouts. He's got a 104 whip. Gotta say, man, he's probably the Cy Young frontrunner right now. The guys who you could possibly say are his competitors are probably Nathan Eovaldi, Luis Castillo maybe. I know he's been vital to Seattle's recent success. Framber Valdez, although he might have ruined it because he got lit up the other day after a bad start against Seattle. I've heard Bautista's name. He's the closer for Baltimore. It's rare that happens. I doubt it. So really, that's kind of it for his competitors. That's like 2 starters who really have a legitimate shot at the moment. Eovaldi and Castillo are the only current guys that I could see taking it from him. Especially because they're on contenders. But it will be interesting to see. Cole's got a 2.95 ERA, which is good. It's a good one, but I want to know the last time a guy won the Cy Young with an ERA that high. But that's, the American League is hitting this year, so. And that's his 15th cap tip of the season. It's our 15th time tipping our caps to Gerrit Cole, which is the most on the team. And it makes sense. He's been the best Yankee this season by far. And last but not least, I'll tip my cap to Johnny Lasagna. Jonathan Loaisiga, an inning and a third, no runs, no strikeouts, no walks, a hit. Did allow the inherited run, but I wanted to give him one because I thought he looked good. If he's healthy, and this is a big if, I'm thinking about maybe putting him at closer next year. I never liked Clay Holmes in that role. Ever since he kind of imploded last season halfway through, I was kind of done with him as a closer. I still think Clay Holmes is an effective reliever, but I don't like him in that 9th inning role. I think somebody more composed, like a Johnny Loaisiga, who gets a ton of ground balls, and he doesn't seem to be mentally weak like the Clay Holmes is. I don't know, but this is Johnny Loaisiga's first time this season getting a cap tip. So that's it. And I think that's it for the show. I think that's all we got for this episode. So 5:55 in the books. Let's wrap this up with our trivia, and that'll be that. Let's go right now. All right. So for this episode 555 of BD4, our NYY-NYK-MMA trivia question of the day is: which 1940s Yankees outfielder had the famous nickname King Kong? Which 1940s Yankees outfielder had the famous nickname King Kong? All right, so let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. If you get the answer correct, I'll give you a shout out on the next episode. One final time. Which 1940s Yankees outfielder had the famous nickname King Kong? That's it. I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. Episode 555 in the books. The Yankees lose this series 2-1. But who cares? Because we're not looking at series wins and losses anymore. Because that's where we are in the season on August 27th. Amazing. All right. I appreciate it all. Thank you. Subscribe, download these episodes, share with your friends on social. You know where to find me, and I'll see you in the next one. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.